Okay, so please, if you have any questions at any time, just ask away. I think it's nicer to have like a conversation rather than just a presentation. All right. Well, I think most of you have maybe seen me. Here's me at my studio. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the background info about me, but it's gonna be a bit of like a context of how like the Dream series gets started and why I think it's a bit relevant. So I've been quite an artistic person my whole life. I've been since kid. I've been known as somebody who draws a lot. So I've been drawing a lot since I was a kid. And around 2013, I got really interested on like more on learning how to draw and paint in traditional style, like in a good level. So I still have the same day job I had then, but like a side, after work, I started learning how to draw and paint. I learned on the Watts Atelier, so online. It's a really good like traditional school for learning how to draw and paint, and I did a lot of like live drawing, sculpting, all those kind of stuff, and you can see how my skills got better over the years. Oh, hey, there's more people joining. Awesome. Hey, Andrea. But about 2017 or 18, I started to feel like even though I was getting really good at the traditional art stuff, I started to get the feeling that I'm not really satisfied. I'm not really happy, even though I can draw and paint pretty good. So I started to feel like I don't want to continue doing this like traditional style, or I'm never gonna be happy if I just continue doing this style. So I wanted to start like creating something unique for myself, like trying to find my own artistic voice. So here's some early explorations on that. So 2017, probably one of the earliest of these. Like I started playing around with color more, and there's kind of like abstractions and non-realistic color schemes, and also painting from imagination. A lot of figurative art. There's some self-portrait there also. Is everybody seeing the screen all right? Is the screen share working? Okay.
Yes, it works.
Awesome.
Can see.
So there's some similarities to the Dream series in these very early artworks already, stylistically. Here's a couple of untitled, like abstract oil paintings I did. These are based on my own photography. Same thing here, just like exploring like the colors and the like the shapes, like what I want to do. So around 2019, I discovered Beksinski. He became my favorite artist of all times right away. I really like how he does the colors and all the kind of the shapes and the kind of like a mystery he has all around his artworks, and like the little details, and just the way that he's done like the. He's painting like a realistic style, I guess. Like the rendering is realistic, but like the themes and the characters can be really like abstracted and all that. So I got really interested of that. So the Beksinski has been like a huge influence for me for the Dream series and my style development overall, especially the colors and the surface details, and you can probably see like bit of like a similarities in the other side artwork on the Dream series and the Beksinski. I never really like to have like Beksinski does like quite dark, and many consider it like a horror kind of art. I never want to do that kind of like. I more like wanted to do something more, let's say, cheerful, more positive, like visually, than that kind of stuff. But I really like the colors. So at this point, like at 2019, I started to get like a pretty good idea like what I wanted to do. So I wanted to make figurative art mostly. I wanted to have like a beautiful, harmonious colors. I wanted to have like a realism mixed with imaginative things. So a bit of abstraction and realism together. So that's pretty much how the Dream series got started. And it started like as an exploration to find my own artistic voice and style, and like a way of working also. So how I want to like make the artworks in the first place. It started around mid 2020. So hello.
Hey.
Hey. So it was, in a sense, like a liberation from the traditional style for me. So I wanted to create something away from the just a traditional school of work. And the original intent for the Dream series was that the digital paintings that I've done, like the ones in here, was just kind of like a concept art for the oil paintings. So the oil paintings were, I considered those as the more important artworks, and the digital painting was just like a way of trying to figure out what I want to paint with the oils and sketching around that. And I wanted to do that because the experimenting things digitally was so much faster and cheaper than with oils. I can move around things, I can change things like super fast, and I can undo with oils. It takes quite a lot of time if you need to get them dry first, and then you have to change things. So digitally it was made much more sense. But now now that I've got into NFTs and I like enjoy working digitally a lot, I think now almost the digital artworks are more important for me. But of course I want to paint also with oil, so it's just a matter of like how much time I have, and just planning around that. The name Dream series is more like a working title. It's not like the series is not just about dreams. I will talk more about that in a bit, but So the series consists like of digital paintings, like the ones here, the static like ones. They're currently on Hiketnunk, and then the animated or interactive works, the NFTs, which are upcoming ones, photography, and the oil paintings, and also prints later. And then in the end, in next year, fall or winter, I hope I will do the art book out of all of these, like combine them all together into an art book. That's still like in the planning phase, so still a lot to do there. Okay, so about the themes. So I think stylistically the Dream series is kind of like a serene, enigmatic and vibrant. Like I mentioned before, like the harmonious colors are very important. That's something I always try to find. And then there's the also like a metaphysical themes that I want to kind of explore and think about, like a space and time, like in these pictures are really unknown rather than based on observable world. So the location and time in these pictures can be a dream, or can be in someone's mind, or who knows. Then like more themes around that, like consciousness, thoughts and mind, differences between real world and dreams, mind's location separated from body. These are kind of like really subjects that interest me a lot. And stylistically also really like the unification of different elements and objects is really important. So things are blending together like in a hazy dream or thought. There's not really usually like separate objects. Everything is like this oneness with everything else. You can see in this picture, the hair is blending with the surface of everything else, and the body is blending together with the background and all that. It's kind of comes from this idea of like, well, in the real world also, like everything is made of atoms and particles, and if you go back like smaller and smaller units, we are just made of everything is made of the same things. Like if you trees and rocks and people and planets, they are all the just same particles. So in a sense that's really important to me. Like I want to visualize somehow the oneness with everything that exists in the real world. So here's some things that are usually like get my attention, like as inspiration for the shapes and colors I have on my artworks. When I spot like these kind of unique things, I photograph them for later use. I have tons of these kind of pictures. So just to explain, like for example, I saw the coffee, there's a pan of coffee, and there's like light coming through it. I just saw that color that got cast on the table. I thought it was super beautiful, and like the shapes around that. And then the colors of those fruits and the shapes, and the tree. Like I just noticed that one tree that was super yellow comparing to everything else. I have not like currently or like directly included these elements to my current artworks, but I will use them, and I've used some for upcoming work. So, and I want to use them more and more and incorporate them to the artworks. But I don't. When I take the photos, I don't think like I will use this, or I just want to capture it and save it for later. Here's some more like nature stuff. I like to photograph them, like rocks. I like those cracks on the surface. Those like I paint quite a lot. Also, some of the paintings I've done so far include one of those, like rock formations. Then like the shapes on the trees. Those kind of things I like to photograph, and those like on the right the tree. That's something I could use as a like an overlay on my painting and paint the shapes and get them included somehow into the painting. So the digital paintings. The digital paintings are a bit of like a mixture of photo manipulation, photo collage, and digital painting. So I use Procreate app on iPad for the painting, and these are also like I use the photographs I took. I start to mix them together to like finding nice kind of shapes and compositions. I usually have some kind of idea like before I start, like what I want to do. Not exactly what I want to do, but I have some kind of idea and start from there and add more if needed, like more details and stuff like that. So I start with combining the photographic elements. I usually start with just black and white. That's just easier because I can just focus on the value harmonies and creating interesting shapes and the composition. So I don't at that point I don't need to worry about the color at all. And then when I get that finished, then I changed for the I start focusing on the colors, and I usually use the colors of the photographs as a starting point, and then like lay the photograph over the black and white painting that I previously did, and then use the Procreate's color tools to change those colors a bit, like change the harmonies. And then I just lay it over the black and white painting and start to mix and blend and edit the colors until I'm happy. And I think this painting here, hello. I think this painting here started first as an oil painting. Then I got stuck with it, like I didn't find the colors that I wanted. I didn't want to use that anymore, oil paint, trying to find out, and I just took a photo of the oil painting and continue it on Procreate like digitally and finished the digital painting. So these digital paintings will be used mostly from now on for the art book and for prints. Then a few things about the NFTs. So the first Dream Series NFTs, everything 1 to 13 is on Higetnunk. They are all still images, and from 13 to onwards I will do different ones. I will do like video animated ones. I will do some interactive ones probably also, and 3D VR. I have some VR things planned. Yeah. So, for example, this ecstasy one. This is like I did use the digital painting as a base for this, but it's not just like I add some effect on top of it. It requires quite a bit of manual work, so I had to paint like I painted like 2 additional versions of the painting, where the hands are in different poses, and the feet, and also I had to move the background elements around. And when I had those 3 still images, then I combined them in the DaVinci Resolve editing video editing software. I started to blend them together, and then I started to play around with the colors there. And yeah, the idea with the NFTs from the 13 onwards is that I want to explore new ways of working with new mediums, and to bring more life to the artworks. I do love the digital painting still, but I want to try out new things, and especially like video is very interesting to me right now, like doing video artworks or animations. Yeah, then photography, not much about this yet. I haven't done, I've done 2 like the photograph artworks. They are both on Higetnunk. I do have a lot of content for it, so I will do later more. The current ones are just like edited versions of the photoshoot session images. So I just take the photoshoot images and start to edit them. I do like to not just like color correct them and that, but I also want to lay out top some like these color elements, like the shapes. So I like to play around with that more. In the upcoming photography workshop, I will most likely play around more with that kind of idea, like the photo collage and those kind of shapes, and not just leave them as photographs. So I might mix some other photography also, like mix them together. Then the oil paintings. Here you can see the like the difference between the oil paintings. The right one is the oil painting still not finished. So I usually use the digital painting, the finished digital painting, as a reference or starting point for the oil paintings. I don't want to have I don't want to make them as like exact copies. So I want to play around with them a bit and let them take their own direction. So I mean, like the painting in oils is getting it exactly the same is super hard. So I don't mind, like if I get some other ideas while painting, I might as well try them. These paintings need to be fairly large because of the small details on the like especially the figures. And none of the oil paintings I've done so far, I've done maybe 5 or something. None of them are like completely ready yet, so I might change things still on them. So I can still continue them and change them around. And the current paintings like this one here is done on canvas, but the next ones will be on panel, just to save space. I like painting on panel more because the surface is much nicer, like more even. With canvas, it's harder to paint like smaller details if it needs to be really well primed first. Yeah, here's another example of how the oil painting can be much different from the digital painting. This drift is also, the oil painting is unfinished, so I will probably change like the middle part here. I'm not happy about it yet, but still not yet finished. And here's another example. This was started as a oil painting first, and then I did the digital painting after that. I kind of wanted to like take the oil painting and see how I can improve the surface details and the other details here, and I can use digital painting for that, just to play around with the colors and the shapes and see how I can improve it, and then go back to the oil painting and do those changes. That was all from me. I think I was about 25 minutes. Do you have any questions? Anyone? No one?
I can ask you a question.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. So how do you come with the color palette for series? When you think about your future work, do you sort of think about what colors you're gonna move towards to, or you just go with the process? Because this series is very, dreamy, and I love the colors, and I was just how do you choose those?
Yeah, I don't really plan it out beforehand at all. Like when I start painting, I don't usually have any kind of idea like, okay, I want this artwork to be red or blue or whatever. So it comes purely from the experimentation, I think. Because from the Procreate tools and the DaVinci Resolve, the video editing tools, I usually push around the colors there, and then when I see something that I like, I just go with that. So I might play around, okay, I'm gonna change now the shadow colors, and then I see what kind of shadow color looks nice, and then okay, I decide something and then just go with that, rather than planning it out beforehand.
Yeah, many times, and we ourselves, every time you work, it's just difficult to predict. You sort of always go with the process, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would be nice. I probably will do some artworks in the future that I'm gonna plan beforehand, how I want the colors to be, just to see how I can do that also. I mentioned, I have the reference images and images I've taken. So I would like to try that, take a color palette from the image and try to recreate that on the artwork.
Yeah. Tell us how it goes when you start. Interesting.
Which what thing?
The future one, the one that you want to plan. That's first.
Well, for example, in the
I'm just saying, let's not lose contact, and you can then hopefully tell us how it went.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would take something like this and just copy the color of the artwork. Yeah. But yeah, is there anything else? Any other questions?
Well, how do you usually start a piece? Do you sketch it out, or do you start from a figure, work from there?
So for the Dream series, I basically start by, I don't do like any kind of sketching beforehand. I start right away. I take like, I'm gonna find like what image I want to use. For example, here, if I would like to use this image, I would take that to the Procreate and then just copy the layer. So I have the color. I don't lose the color. I would change it to black and white and just start painting over that. So
Okay.
that's what I meant when I said the artworks are like a mixture of like photo manipulation and digital painting. So I use the photographs directly on the paintings. So I don't paint it like using the photograph as reference and painting from from the start.
Work from the photograph.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did, because my like background is in traditional art. I had like for a long time, I felt kind of bad for doing that because it feels like I'm cheating or something. But now I'm just completely okay with it. And then when I start to like when I've changed to like the photograph, I try to make it like more painterly, and after a while, some kind of like when I've combined the different photos together and paint over them, like then like different kind of shapes start to emerge, and then I'm gonna start painting over that. So it's in the end it's a bit of mix like digital painting and photo manipulation, but it for sure it starts first as photo manipulation, and in the end it ends up being a digital painting. But yeah, that's a great question.
Thanks.
All right. I think it's then Octavio's turn.
Thanks, Walt.
Yeah.
Well, okay, thank you.
Can you see your
First, yes,
Okay,
yes, I see the image.
great.
Well, first, I need to say that I need to organize in my laptop this presentation because for me in English is very difficult, but I try to speak for better for you. First, I like to say thank you for everybody to come to this page for the presentation. I would like to thank to VerticalCrypto for the opportunity. For me, it's a pleasure to share the space with Walt that is going to help me with the slide. My name, Octavio Irving. Everybody know that. I work with Betty. We are a team in this work in the NFT space. I have been working as an artist for the last 20 years. I was a graduate on the University of Cuba in the specialty of printmaking, but I have developed my work through different mediums, mostly printmaking, drawing, painting, photography, and installation. Next, the next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Those are some images of my studio in Havana. This place is not only my personal studio. Here we also organize different projects related with printmaking and drawing to promote those expressions. So it's work and has a non-profit project. We organize different workshops and art experience for students, artists, and people in general interested in learn about printmaking techniques. In printmaking, I work mostly lithograph, colorgraph, and etching. The next. Okay, thank you. Those first are lithograph. As you can see, it seems very similar to drawing. The traditional lithograph are made in stone, but those ones were made in aluminum plate. That is contemporary procedures less toxic than the traditional. The other slide, please. The second ones are colorgraph. I have been working a lot of this technique during my career. I made the plate usually using cardboard as a base, and after I had different material in the top to create the texture. Sometimes I use two different plates for the same work, combine the in different plate the color. Usually put for example brown color in one plate and black color in the other plate, and combine in the same moment. I use in the machine in the print machine. I use the to play in the same moment to get one print. But sometimes in this case I use two colors in the same plate. In this case I use the first color with a brush and the second color with a roller. The yellow color I put with a brush into the plates, and after clean I put the brown with a big roller in all plates. The other, please. Thank you. And excuse me. These are etching is one of my favorite techniques on printmaking. This work was specially made to participate in Graphic America, an international printmaking exhibition organized by MOLA, the Museum of Latin American Art of Los Angeles. As you can see, it is the same plate but printed in different paper. In the first case, I use traditional procedures, naming chin collet, to have the piece of paper in the top of the figure. In my case, I prefer to make to make a low edition of each artwork, and also like to experiment with the copies. Usually I pick one and combine with drawing or painting to create an original. For many people, printmaking are a less value kind of artwork because the condition of multiple edition. But the really is that make a print is not easy to at all. The process for create a play is long. You need to make a lot of tests before you get the result that you are looking for. And after that, to make each copy, you need to take into account several parameters to guarantee the fidelity of the edition. Maybe this is why print are not the kind of work that I made the most. Those the next wall, please. Those are some of my drawing. I enjoy a lot of to draw. The process is more free and spontaneous. I have been here. Many artists say that create is a need, like breath of it, and I completely understand because I know that feeling. So when I feel that need, the easy way to relieve is get a piece of charcoal and start to draw. If I like the result, perfect to me. But if I don't like, the paper goes straight to the garbage, and I start again. In general, I don't use image have reference just a few times and only at the beginning. Sometimes I have a clear image in my mind, but other times I make some stars and lines and start to build a figure from that. I really love discovery shapes, figures that suddenly appear in the paper, and I just help they to show. There are some of my the next please. Well, the next slide. The other. The next. Looking for a painting. Other. Yes, thank you. There are some of my painting. As you can see, there is also a strong presence of the drawing on it. Sometimes I say that these paintings are just a few oil on acrylic to put on touch of color and a lot of charcoal drawing. Maybe because my motivation to paint on canvas was because the size of the work. In this case, this one of more than 2 meters, and it is very complicated to handle it with work on paper so large. The next, please, is other example of my painting. The next, I joined the NFT space at the end of April. I'm still New West. I have minted works on Foundation, but mostly of them of Hiken Nu. Until now, I have minted has NFT image of my physical work. Soon, when I finally get a drawing table, I going to make more digital work. But what I really want is to learn about other tools to expand my creative work. I want to able to create some native digital work, but without lost my aesthetic on my work. The other, please, is more drawing on he can know. The other, okay. Well, I am very interested in artificial intelligence and augmented reality. I would like to experiment with animation too. So these are some of my goals in the next month. The other, please. Yeah. Well, is for me is the end. Thank you for listening. If any question, anybody have question?
Thank you. That was amazing. I have at least like a lot of questions. So you mentioned something already about that, but so do you draw mostly from life or from photos? You said that you start from the photo, but you continue without it or something like that.
No. Usually, I work of my mind before I like to see some image how motivation. But when I begin to work, I working without any image to reference. But sometimes I need to see for a few times at the beginning some image, some reference image to start to begin to drawing. But when I begin, I continue only with my memory, the memory of that image. Because when I working with the memory, for me is better to create a new forms for the is more how do you say creative, created made to get a better result.
Yeah, for sure. So all of those, like you have those kind of animal themes also mixed with humans, like the beaks. These are also all from just imagination, right?
Usas muchos animales y eso también se puede trabajar.
Yes, Betty help me with the translator here. Yes, I use. I like to combine the image of animal and human body of human being, because I think that the how do you say the morphologia? How do you say in English? The image and the animal have many coincidence in the anatomic body.
Yeah.
And I like to combine in this kind of work when I combine the animal and human being. I I like to speak about the hierarchy. I think that the human thing that is are in the top on the hierarchy, in the kind of in how do you say in the nature. And it's not I think that is not like this. It's very important to have conscious about the importance of everything in the nature is important to the to get to the life. In this for this reason, I combine, and sometimes the animal have a more importance in the image that the human big. Yes, I use the reference for from animals, from photograph. Sometimes I use a drawing, how reference image of drawing of animal, but only how I say after in the beginning of my work.
Where do you sell the original artworks, like the prints? Do you sell them online or just locally, or?
I can join if hey something is happening with my microphone. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, can you
Yes.
hear me? Hey,
Yes, we heard. Yes.
something's happening to my connection. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just want to. Really beautiful, Octavio. I love your work, and the rendering of Mona Lisa is one of my favorites of your work. And morphology, I guess, the word you're looking for. And I love the appreciation for life forms that you have and the life around us. And yeah, just beautiful. And I don't know, I don't have any questions, only compliments. Yeah. And yeah, we also are very interested in morphology and metamorphosis, but we're gonna talk about it later. But yeah, I always work because I always want to ask this question, but you also go with the process, right? When you mix the creatures, when you like sort of you don't really plan that this one will look like a rabbit, or this one will go the other direction. You just go with the process as well, right? Or am I mistaken? Is it spontaneous that you just go with the flow? The result just will appear.
Well, my work sells in different galleries. A few on Cuba, but in other country, in United States, different country. I work with sometimes with a private collection and some museum of Europe and United States and Latin America. About the process, I how can I say I begin to drawing on or painting, and I don't stop to the end. I need to finish when I begin to drawing. I need to see the end. Usually I working for a long time for that reason, because I feel the emotion.
Inspiration.
Yes, and I drawing all time to the end to get the result in the one session, in the one moment.
I have another question. Where did you get all those equipment that you have in your studio?
Very interesting question. In Cuba, the printmaker forget that or machine for print. It's very difficult because here we don't have store forget that machine. Here, many people doing that with different using different part or piece recycled for the industry. For example, when in Cuba close a factory of or sugar factory close, the people looking for a piece of the big one machine there, using to do into that kind of machine to print. In my studio, I have two print machine like this, and other for Silograph, good cut. Is only the original machine that I have, and the other machine is a handmade machine. Other question? Sorry for my English.
Just curious to know if you fix the machine yourself or there is some other people helping you.
¿Máquina tú mismo o alguien te ayudó?
Yes, I am. I myself. Ayúdame con la traducción.
Va solo.
Myself. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's really interesting.
Me trae una respuesta. Si me la puedes decir y ahí va bien.
Congrats on getting to known origin. By the way, do you have any plans for that? Like, what are you going to release there?
Well, I like to show in that platform a new. It's not a new work of me, but it's new for the NFT space. It's a long series that I working for many years, and it's about the landscape. I love the landscape, how investigation, visual investigation, and I have many work of this kind of in this kind of works on drawing, painting, and prints. And I like to show this kind of work in that. Maybe Betty prepare Twitter with this in the next day or in the day with that kind of work.
Hello, everyone. We are trying to show different works in the different platforms. So for No Origin, we are thinking in this series that Octavio is talking about. In the next days, we are going to show some of the image. Is landscape, but not the traditional landscape. Octavio likes to represent objects at the landscape. So as you can see in all his work, he's quite obsessed with some forms and shapes, and also with some objects. And it's the case of this series. There are like the representation of different stuff that he saw at the street and as part of the urban landscape, but also he recreate these shapes. So the final result is are some objects and figures, but completely new, because there are exist only in his mind. So we hope that you like it also.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I can't wait to see them. So are those drawings or paintings?
The painting and drawing.
Okay.
Two.
Okay, I guess that was all the questions I had. I think you already answered a few that I had. Like I wanted to ask about the paintings or the mixed media stuff, but you already answered that you used the oil painting and acrylics on them, right? So it's drawing mixed with acrylics and oil painting.
Please, Walt, repeat the question.
So the paintings you had in your slides, they were the mixed media paintings. There's a drawing mixed with oil painting and acrylics, right?
Yes. For me, it's very. Sometimes I like to. In different moments, I want to painting, but I really don't. I really don't know how painting with many colors, and I don't know how using only for example oil for painting. Forget a painting only with oil or acrylic, for example. And when I work, I have in the memory something, and I need to get in the result. I need to get that result that I have in my mind. And in this obsession, I begin to, for example, with oil, but in some moment I need to combine or with other medium, and I incorporate acrylic and charcoal, and for that reason, all of my work is a mixed media because I using different medium. But when I put in the techniques, I put drawing on painting. Is the reason is because in the result I put sorry, a moment please, que yo nombro las técnicas según el resultado que aplico. Betty help me with the translator in this moment.
He said that usually he used different works, different mediums to create a work, but in the case that he named in the technique of the piece said it's drawing or it's charcoal and acrylic, it's because they are the mediums that are the main mediums for that work in particular.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there any other questions?
How long did it take you to prepare the presentation? My question is, I'm already thinking.
For me, it took like 2 days. I guess.
Yeah. That was very wonderful to hear from both of you. Days?
Yeah.
It's very difficult for me in English, but I try to do it better today.
No, your English is amazing. It's really great. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I love you, Walt.
But really, Octavio, you should focus less on your English because we could understand everything and it was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah,
and Walt, I loved it so much. Also, loved to listen about your process and hear about your process. And yeah, thank you both so much. enjoyed it really.
Thank you for joining. Yeah, it was great. It was really nervous, but I think this went well.
I could feel that.
All right. I guess we can wrap this up. If there's no more questions from anyone. All right. Yeah, I would just like to thank Octavio for the presentation and everybody who joined in, who listened. Really, thank you so much, and VerticalCrypto Art for giving us this opportunity. Yeah, thank you everybody, and
thank you very much to both of you.
Thank you.
It was really interesting.
Thank you. Walt, thank you for having me in the presentation. Everybody for coming.
Thank you, Walt and Octavio. It was a great presentation.
Thank you.